Hey guys, it's Beth. Welcome back to my channel, and today I am sharing the reveal of the May Flavor of the Month kit from Scrapping for Less and am participating in the hop with all of the other designers. Okay, so here is what is included in this month's Flavor of the Month kit. And each kit comes with 4 different collections, and each collection usually has 6 double-sided 6x6 patterned papers, a stamp set, and then some other goodie or embellishment of some sorts. And then the kit also contains some cardstock, and then if you get the banana split level, it also comes with some other goodies. So we will start with collection number 1, and it is called Love Big. And there's this stamp set that is Benny the Bigfoot, and so you've got this cute little like Yeti Bigfoot guy, and then Bigfoot, and then some different phrases: love big, don't stop believing, seek and find. And then it comes with some chalkboard hearts and these pretty glittered flower embellishments by Jolie's. And then the paper in this collection is from the Love Big paper collection from Scrappin' for Less, and again, double-sided, pretty patterns, and then you also get an envelope. So that was collection number 1. Collection number 2 is called Easy Peasy, which is fun. And it has some yellow, like pale yellow and white twine. There are some enamel dots. Mine are like a soft green. The stamp set for this one is called Easy Peasy by Scrapping for Less. And it's just got like a lemon theme. Squeeze the day, easy peasy lemon squeezy. And then some vintage style paper, like some of them have lemon images and some don't. So, and then there's the envelope for that, so that's fun. And then collection number 3 is called Weather Together. And this one is really fun. I got some like turquoise ribbon in this one, and then the stamp set for this one is called Weather the Storm, and it's designed by Courtney Kreber along with Scrapping for Less, and it says got the rainbow, cloud, sun, and let's weather this together. After every storm there is a rainbow. This collection is kind of very appropriate for what we're all going through right now, I think. And then this is a super fun collection with lots of rainbows and bright colors. Envelope, and there are enamel dots with this one. Oh, here they are. I think that's these. And collection number 4 is probably my favorite, and it's called Little Lady, and it's Ladybug themed. The stamp set is Little Lady by Scrappin' for Less, and it's got the ladybug and a little flower, which could be a daisy or a sunflower. It says every little thing will be all right, and you are awesome. So love that little stamp set. And the super fun ladybug themed ephemera. It's got the ladybugs and some flowers, like bright. It's got this nice red, white, and black combo that just really pops well together. So I'm loving this ephemera. And then there's some red twine, some more enamel dots. And then this is the Little Lady paper collection by Scrapping for Less. And again, fun double-sided patterns, and then an envelope with this one too. I'm gonna have fun with this collection. And then the cardstock colors that I got, I think they are the same. There's Wild Cherry, Orange Fizz, Lemon Drop, Grout Gray, Sour Apple, and Blue Raspberry, and then the 2 sheets of Nina Classic White 110. And then in my banana split level, I also got an extra stencil that's got like raindrops and clouds by Scrappin' for Less. And then some pink embossing powder and some sequins. So this is just a very springy, very fun kit this month, and like I said, it's even kind of topic appropriate with what's going on now as far as collection number 3 kind of fits right in. And even collection number 4. Every little thing will be all right. You just have to have faith and keep on trucking. So this is the kit for this month. This is what I am getting to work with and have some fun with. So stay tuned and we will make some cards with this fun kit. So for the first card, I am using the MFT sketch number 18 that is included in the Flavor of a Month like sketch download. And I'm not making it square, I'm making it A2 size card. And I am using collection number 2, the Easy Peasy with the lemon theme. And just to kind of make it all flow together, I decided to ink my edges with some Gathered Twigs Distress ink. Since I'm not doing, I did do a layer behind that circle element, but I wasn't layering any of the others. And I pull the Squeeze the Day sentiment off that lemon theme stamp set. And I'm just stamping it on some of that, a strip of that yellow plaid that I'm using kind of for my card mat. And when I just used a circle die to cut out that lemon paper and then a stitch circle to cut out kind of like that beige, grayish beige cardstock that I'm using for that mat on the circles. I did use a stitch circle on that one. So here I put the kind of turquoise polka dot paper right on top of that yellow plaid. And then to cover the seam where they meet right there, I'm just using some of the yellow twine that came in that collection. And then because the twine's on the back, I don't use a whole lot of foam on my cards just because I don't love a lot of dimension on my cards, but I did add some fun foam just so that it would sit more level with the twine wrapping around it. I was pulling whatever I could find on my desk at the time that was heavy enough to hold it down so you can see my colored pencil can. So I'm just adding some fishtails to that sentiment. And then I'm going to go ahead and ink it up too, just so that it flows with the rest of the card. I love the pale yellows and the turquoise, like the vintage feel of this particular collection. So I'm just using some art glitter glue on top of the foam there to adhere that to my card base. And I did use the kind of grayish, the grayish tan, grayish beige cardstock that came in the kit. I don't have the list in front of me to know. Oh, yes, I do. It was the grout gray cardstock. That's what I used for my card base. So here I'm just adding all the other pieces in, and I'm trying to figure out where I wanted that sentiment and decided just to put it towards the bottom of that lemon in the circle. And then I took a few of the enamel dots that came with this collection, and I'm just adding them at the bottom left corner to follow the card sketch. And that's my card number 1. So for card number 2, I am using collection number 1, and I'm doing a fun fold card. And this is the one, this is the same fun fold that I did showed in my sneak peek. So I just have a standard A2 size card base. It's 8.5 by 5.5. And then I scored it at 2 inches and at 3 1/8 inch. And then I just turned it around and did the same thing on the other side, scored at 2 inches and then 3 1/8. And then just used my bone folder to kind of make those creases nice and strong. And then for the center panel there, I used the Bigfoot pattern, the footprint pattern that came in the collection, and that piece is 2 inches by 5 3/8. And then the yellow polka dot pieces that are on either side of that are cut at 1 inch by 5 3/8. And then that kind of the orange, reddish orange flower, the panels that I'm putting on the end there, I cut those to be 1 7/8 inch by 5 3/8. So I used pretty much a full sheet because the Bigfoot footprint and then that red flowers, those were all the same paper. It's just the front and the back sides of it. So I pretty much used that full sheet on this card. So here I used the Love Big sentiment from that stamp set, and I had already colored and fussy cut out the Bigfoot, the little guy there. And just trying to figure out placement on that center panel, and then I wanted to add something at the bottom. So I think I'm going to pull in those flowers that also came in this collection. So I'm just gluing down these pieces and then figuring out the flowers that I want to use. And then my little Yeti guy, my Bigfoot guy, is done. And I do show you the back of the card that it's blank, that you can write on the back. And then I also show you that when you fold it up, it's like a standard A2 card, fits in a normal A2 size envelope. So here for card number 3, I am using collection number 4, which is like the Ladybug theme, and it's called Little Lady. And I love how the black and the red work together. And so I'm using the sentiment that "You are awesome" that came on the Little Lady stamp set, and just trying to line it up, make sure it's lined up, and I kind of off the bottom of the screen there, but just trying to make sure that it's lined up so that I can stamp it and it's straight. And I always stamp things a couple times just to make sure that it comes out clear. So I decided I wanted to use, I'm not following a card sketch or anything on this one, and I decided I wanted to use some twine along the bottom of my black polka dot piece, which is 4 by 5 1/4, by the way. So I just kind of wrap it around and cross it in the front, and then I'm adding some score tape on the back just to make sure it stays in place. And then we'll add my ATG before I glue it down to my card base. And I am using the Wild Cherry cardstock that came in the kit for my card base on this one. So I had decided I wanted to use 3 of the flowers that came in the little ephemera collection, and chose 2 red and then 1 of the black ones. So I'm fishtailing both ends of my sentiment, and then I'm going to try and figure out where I want to place it. Thought it would look cool on top of the twine, but it was such a small, thin strip, I wasn't sure how I was going to get it to stay, so I just opted to put it below. So then I'm using my art glitter glue on the back of the flowers to adhere them down. And I decided I wanted to pop up the black one in the middle a little bit, but I didn't want to go the whole depth of some fun foam or foam tape. So I just chose 2 black scraps of cardstock and glued those to the back of my flower, kind of layered them onto the back of my flower, and that added just a little bit of dimension, just enough to raise it above the other 2 flowers. And then just adding my sentiment strip down there at the bottom. And I kind of wish I had some red enamel dots. I think those would have looked cool at the bottom too, but my kit came with some green ones for this collection. So anyway, I think it was cute. So for my next card, I am using collection number 3. And I am using that Operation Right Home sketch number 76 that is on the download sheet. And I went ahead and stamped and colored up the rainbow that was in the stamp set for this collection. And I also pre-cut a circle of that rainbow chevron paper. And it's about a 4-inch circle. And then my card mat, I used the sheet of paper was like solid pink on one side and pattern on the other side. And I cut it down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. So here I'm using that "You Are Awesome" sentiment. Again, I just thought that would be a fun card for maybe a little kid or someone who just needed some cheering up. And then I trimmed once I got my rainbow on there and my sentiment, I kind of trimmed that little square down a little bit. So I'm trying to figure out, I want something else at the bottom of that panel and I can't figure out what I want to use. And I do decide to go ahead and round the edges to soften it a little bit. And then I decide to pull in the sequins, some of the sequins that came in my banana split level packet. So I'm just going to kind of sort through and find some. There's those little, I love those little spiral ones. They're like flat spirals that are really cool. And so I end up using those and just pulled in some that kind of coordinated with the colors. I mean, there's all the colors in the rainbow in this card, but I just kind of chose some that I thought would look best. So went with a couple orange and a blue on my white sentiment piece there, my focal piece, and then just went with some of the, I think they're like a clear, almost like a really light pink for the rest of the card. So just using my art glitter glue to glue those down. And then that card is done. Very bright and cheery. So for this next card, I am using the Deconstructed Sketch number 129, and I'm going back to collection number 2 on this one, the lemon. And again, instead of doing multiple layers, I just decided to break out that brown Distress ink again and ink up all the edges. And on this one, I stamped the lemon on 2 different pieces of the pattern paper in the collection. So I did the leaves on the green pattern paper, and then I stamped the yellow. There was a really pale polka dot, a pale yellow polka dot paper in the collection. And so I did the lemon part on that pale yellow polka dot and then pieced those together on top of my little, I loved that aqua polka dot pattern as well. So that's why I've used this in a couple cards. So here at the bottom of this panel, I decided to use the Squeeze the Day sentiment again, and I'm using my Misty to stamp it directly onto that green so that it's nice and clear and crisp. And then we'll go ahead and add that to my card base. And here I'm just using some craft cardstock. I don't think, it didn't come in this kit. I think it was just on my desk and I thought it would look good. So pulled that in, and it is from a past. I had actually worked in another Scrapping for Less kit, so it's actually from another kit that I had just finished using. So I decided to add some really thin strips of cardstock on the bottom side of that strip that plaid strip going across the card, just so it sits level. And then again, I wanted to add a little bit of dimension on the back of my circle piece with the lemon, but didn't want to go as tall as what foam would do. So just added a strip of cardstock and glued that down. And that's card number 5. So here for card number 6, I am using Operation Write Home sketch number 218, and I'm going back to collection number 1. So I decided to pull in the footprint, and I'm using some Versamark ink just so that it's like a very faint footprint kind of background on my white piece here. I didn't want it to stand out, just wanted to add a little bit of kind of texture to it. And I have another little Yeti guy that I have already colored and cut out. Pulled in that green flower piece for my strip across the bottom and decided to use that gray polka dot as the mat for my little white piece there. So I'm going to hear that down, and then we'll add my Bigfoot. And then I'm going to I'm trying to figure out which sentiment I want to use, and I end up going with the Don't Stop Believing sentiment that came in that stamp set. And I stamped it a couple times. I think I have it nice and juicy, and then it still didn't stamp as great as I wanted it to, so I tried again, and the second time was even worse. So I'm going with that first one, and I'm trying to figure out, I wanted to layer it. I wanted to put a mat underneath it to help it stand out. And so I kind of look at the colored cardstock and then decide just to go back to that gray polka dot. And then here I'm also trying to figure out some sequins that I might want to add as those little circles up there on the top left, and decide on some of the green sequins. So there I am pulling out some of that gray polka dot to go behind my sentiment. And then I'm cutting that. I slid my sentiment down to one end of my pattern piece and went ahead and cut the fishtail out of both pieces at the same time, because if I try and do them individually, the fishtails never line up. So that's just kind of my hack on doing fishtails on multiple layers. And then again, that end, the fishtail end of my sentiment is going to hang over, it's going to hang off my little Bigfoot element there, and so I decided to add another little strip of cardstock behind it so it sits level. And then just adding my sequins on there, I'm going ahead and gluing those down, and now adding my sentiment. And then I decide that that square with the Yeti still needs something else, so I end up pulling in one of those green flowers with the gems, and that's my final card. So here I am showing all of the cards I made today, along with the card that I had made for my preview earlier this week. So I've made 7 cards so far from this kit, and it is super fun. So again, this is a hop, so please be sure to check out the person who follows me. The link will be down in the description box below. And make sure you go back to the Scrapping for Less blog for a chance to enter the giveaway. If you have any questions on anything that I used in the video or did in the video, please let me know. I will link the sketches that I used, as well as any of the products that I can find links for in the description box. But thank you guys so much for your time today, and I hope you enjoy this kit, and I look forward to seeing what all the other designers are making today. So thanks again for your time, and I hope you're having a crafty day.